All right. Welcome, everyone, to Screaming Into the Void, episode number 8. This is the last week we're doing one, and then for the next week, maybe 2, we're going to be off for a little while because next week is our usual off week after every 4 episodes. But also, I'm going to be moving soon, so we're going to have that as well. But we're going to try and give you guys a good podcast today. We have a good topic in mind.
Yeah.
Steve, being the alcoholic he is, having drinks on his...
I bumped my shot glasses over.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that you did that or the fact that I could tell that they were shot glasses.
I mean, it's glass, and they're of a slightly smaller scale, so they sound different when you drop them and knock them over.
It's pretty distinguishable is my point.
I go to college, I'm sorry.
That's not an excuse. Anyway, we have one topic in mind today, but we might be springboarding into something else if we're a lot of the time. Also, I want to apologize. My gameplay footage got a little choppy. I don't really know why. It's a little aggravating, so every now and again, the game will cut for a second or two. It's nothing major. Gameplay still is high quality. I think it's because when I was recording with GeoForce, I don't know how experienced you are with it, Steve, but I had the instant replay on as well as straight recording. Okay. And I think that's what messed it up. So, yeah. But nevertheless, today we're going to be talking about music. Now, what in particular? I was talking to Steve a few days ago, and it's not often I have the radio on in my car. I actually don't ever have the radio on in my car, but my phone was dead, so I actually had to listen to the radio in my car for once, which I was really sad about. And I was listening to what was on the radio, like the more pop culture stations, and I just couldn't fathom people actually genuinely liking the music that they listen to. Especially like this newer pop culture stuff. I listen to this, I'm like, how is this popular? Or why is it popular? I listen to the lyrics, and I'm like, the only thing good about this is the beats. That's it.
Yeah. I personally, my thoughts on it are, I'm sure you've heard this, Matt, but Bo Burnham's song, Repeat Stuff, that's a very good, like, definition of what modern music has come to. And it's essentially like, in the song, if you've heard it, if you haven't, it's basically saying music has become very watered down and generic and easy to remember because they repeat stuff in, like, the chorus that's very easy and, like, very simple to understand and remember, so that way it sounds catchy, so to speak. Like, I'll give you an example. The country rap song that's blowing up, Old Town Road, like...
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that on my stream last night, actually.
Yeah. Originally, like, honestly, I think it's, like, I like hip-hop music, not the newer stuff, more or less, but I like... And I also can appreciate good-sounding country music. So when they kind of threw that together, I personally thought it's not the worst thing in the world, but it was odd.
Wasn't that Bo Burnham who did the same skit? Was it a few years ago? I saw it on Facebook where he was making fun of, like, pop culture country stars where, you know, it's like when you want to have a good old country song, you got to start talking like this, and you got a bunch of metrosexuals never worked a day in their life talking about how hard they work and the jeans they wear and the women they don't have sex with. Remember that?
Yeah.
Was it him who did that skit? It was hilarious.
I think so. Hang on, let me Google it real quick. But anyways, the one thing I was saying was that we were talking about before we went live was how it's really hard to talk about this seriously because in the Discord that we communicate through, Matt sent me a video of Nicki Minaj's song "Stupid Hoe," and I just have her very angry face looking me in the eye right now, and I really don't like it. So it's really distracting. But but that's essentially kind of what we're going on, and we a buddy of mine who when he's on here, he's his username is Division Alpha. Or my friend Matt, but he sent me this video of the truth why modern music is awful, and they essentially said that the depth at which we comprehend the music has been decreasing over the years, and the most complex music has ever been was in the 1960s.
I'd have to agree, but one of the things that I think about when I think of how music alone has decreased depth, because I'm guilty of it too. And Steve, I'm sure you could admit to this. There's been times where you really like a song, whether it's lyrics or beat, and then you listen to the song lyrics over and over again, you're like, I really want to understand the full meaning of the song. So you Google what the overall meaning is to either the
Yeah,
artist or
you go to like Genius.com or something where they can
yeah.
like break down verse by verse. Yeah, yeah. But with that, it's kind of interesting because like all of the newer pop culture music is really really like shallow. Like they're like I'll give you an example. Like 6ix9ine, he has
Oh my god.
yeah, 6ix9ine, he has a song Gummo, and it's basically talking about how he gets a lot of hoes and he does a lot of drugs and he's like here we go. I have the lyrics pulled up. Blicky got the stiffy, got the blicky, drum, it holds 50, that's talking about a gung. I'll see you later, Suwoo. Like, they say the N word a lot, so I'm not going to go lyric by lyric, but I'll find,
Yeah, please don't do that.
here's the first clean verse. On the stoop, krills in my drawers, your girl on my phone. She wanna F, I keep her clothes on, I only want the jaw. Like, man, that's really all I use her for. I kick her out the door. Like, just that. I don't know what on the stoop. Right. On the stoop, krills in my drawers. I don't know what that means. Like,
Krills in my drawers?
krills is a slang for the mixture of cocaine and other drug substances. So that's what he's talking about there. Stoop is a New York term specific for the Dutch word stoep, or the steps or a small porch in front of a townhouse or row house in New York. So on the porch, cocaine and drugs in my drawers, your girl on my phone. And then he literally says how he wants her to give him a blowjob and then leave. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it's shallow. Like, I mean, and it's not to say that all music released in like 2019 sounds like that, but different genres have different things going on. But there is a sense of repetitiveness across entire genres. Like,
oh well,
I mean,
you do know that a lot of the same music producers end up making a lot of today's pop culture music, right? A lot of the same 5 to 6 people make and regurgitate the same recycled beats over and over again. It's very hard to find anyone who's at the, say, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus status that isn't redoing recycled regurgitation over and over again. And I think it's hard to really, at least for me, even when you combine their music to who they are, I've always been told you got to separate the music from the people. And I've had to learn to do that because my favorite band, the lead singer of it, is kind of a, let's just say, very politically inclined, and me and him don't agree at all. Only difference is he attacks people and I don't do that. So as much as I love the music, I've had to learn to separate him from his music. You have to do that. But it's really hard for me to separate the image of Miley Cyrus naked on a wrecking ball looking like a poorly done Thanksgiving turkey and her music.
Yeah, I mean, it is something about the image that people put out there where a lot of people forget that they make music, but they also are their music. Their image is their music. Like,
exactly.
The lyrics I just read to 6ix9ine song Gummo, and if you look at the dude, he's got rainbow hair, a grill, and the letters or the number 6ix9ine tattooed all over his body. Like, and you look at the lyrics and you look at like how he presents himself, and it blows my mind that he's popular and that people like him. I can see why people like, yes, as a society we make dumb people famous because they're dumb, but how people can see what he produces, see how he acts, and see all the legal ramifications he gets in, and they still support him as a musician and as an artist when he's really not doing anything beneficial for the sake of music and for the sake of society.
Wouldn't you say, wasn't the report saying that he was like involved with sexually with an underage girl, like 14 or 15 years old?
There was something like that. Apparently it was like they didn't have sex, but they were like inappropriate touching and stuff like that, but it was on both ends and stuff.
So nothing, well, I mean, I don't know how old the guy is. I'm not saying that's okay, but I mean, it's not as bad as some people are making it out to be, I guess. I'm not excusing it, but still, it could be worse, I suppose. But, you know, one thing that's funny to me is he came out of nowhere. I don't really follow social trends anymore. I'm finally starting to feel like an old man
Yeah.
when I actually have to catch up on societal norms and
Yeah,
memes and
like
stuff like
memes
that.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean, I remember being in high school and talking to my parents, and they would take memes. I'm like, "Don't say that like you're young. You're old. You don't get memes, stuff like
Yeah.
that."
Right.
And now here
And
I am,
now,
like 2 months behind everything because.
yeah.
And then people like even people a little older than my age are trying to keep up. I'm like, man, can you just grow up? It looks embarrassing.
Right. Like, I mean, I think why people act like that specifically, like where people just don't catch up or keep up with the trends, is because as you like, this is I would hope to be expected of most people. As you grow older, you learn to you learn to have your own image, and you learn to figure out who you are, what you like, and so you don't feel obligated, you have no desire to follow the social trends anymore. And I feel like that's the same way with like the music that goes out there right now. Like, people will be listening to these songs, and they'll go and do some dumb stuff, and then they'll wonder why they got in trouble because they're just following the trend.
Well, it's funny too because a lot of those guys talking about having guns, hooking up with loose slutty women, having
Right.
stacks of cash, doing all this other kind of stuff, and listening to that while you're on your way to your 9 to 5 office job. Like clearly, you don't represent what you listen to. I mean, at the same time, I could say the same thing about myself, considering what I listen to. But at the same time, it's just that I don't claim that. It's interesting to me how you will listen to music such as that. You will connect it in your brain, like, yeah, I recognize with this, but you don't follow it whatsoever at all. Because people like me and you, at least for me, I don't say I listen to music as purely as a coping method, but really it is. Like, I've had music get me through a lot of really rough stuff.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I really identify and really care about my music. That's why when I put it on in the car, when I'm out in public and listen to my music, they're like, oh, that's terrible, turn that off. I'm like, I'm giving you 1 second to shut your mouth before I assault you. Like, it genuinely...
I know it genuinely upsets you, but like, if someone doesn't like for me at least, if somebody doesn't like my music, I just don't take it personally, because like you know me, like I've gotten through a lot of shit with music as well. But if someone doesn't like my music, as long as they don't try to force me to like try to grab my speaker or try to yank the aux out of my phone, like, that's not my problem. And even to say it's like, I mean, to me, it's not worth the trouble. But like, I wouldn't assault somebody because they don't listen to Amity. Like, I wouldn't assault somebody because they listen to the Jonas Brothers and I don't. I'm sorry, but it's childish in my personal opinion.
Well, this is the thing. I didn't say I would purely because they don't listen to what I want them to listen to. I'm talking about the people who go out of their way to insult what you listen to purely because they think what they listen to is better. Purely, I don't really care what most people would listen to. So the thing is, I don't always explicitly listen to Amity. To be completely honest,
Right.
I've actually stopped listening to them a lot. Not a lot, but a decent amount, because I kind of save them for when I'm going through harder things or when I'm really in a certain kind of mood. And because I just can't only listen to them, I'll just get so bummed out of it. Doesn't matter how much I enjoy their music, because I do. It's still gonna I'm still gonna get burnt out of it. So I'm not saying that I want everyone to coincide with my ideals. Just don't go out of your way to attack what you deem is poor music or bad music. And that's the disconnect here. Is that I want to clarify. It's just that I don't really want everyone to fall inside my views, because, I mean, it's not realistic for one thing, but it's not necessary. I'm just saying that the people, because this has happened to me before, where I was either at tech school or something like that, and I got handed the aux cable one day. They said, play whatever on your mind or play what you like to listen to. So I did. I played Amity, and everyone in the car was like, ew, turn this emo garbage off, man. I feel like killing myself. I'm like, wow, okay. Cool. Sure.
I would just turn it up.
Oh, I did.
And be like,
I absolutely did. And they said, I'm turning, then the driver completely turned the stereo off, and they said, we're not playing that anymore. I'm like, well, I got the aux cable and I unplugged it. So unless you give it back, no one's playing anything. So, you know, and that's my point, is just that I don't want everyone to coincide with me. Just don't insult me either.
Right. My thing, getting back to the topic of how a lot of the pop music and stuff is really shallow, and people don't take it seriously, and it's really dumb. It's not. I've kind of figured out it's not genre exclusive.
No, it's not.
Right, and here's one of my favorite memes that I found on browsing Reddit, because I'm a normie like that. But it was a article that said more than 80 firearms and 3 skulls found in Cannibal Corpse's guitarist's home, and like the title of his songs are like, "I have guns in my house for a murder. My home is full of skulls." And like to me, it's ironic because like people look at like 6ix9ine's like music and they're like, oh, he's talking about doing drugs and stuff, and he disrespects women, and then there's someone in a different genre the next block over that has guns in his house for a murder as a title of his song, and my home is full of like, I just find that like almost poetically ironic. That
it is absolutely ironic.
It's like
it's not exclusive to one genre of music, but I will
Right.
say it's found a more commonplace home in pop than anywhere else.
I'd say it's found more in not necessarily pop, but just popular music. Because
Well, of
like,
course, but I mean, popular
Right.
music is going to be more portrayed anyway. So when the
Right.
norm is the music that people listen to, of course, it's going to get pushed
Right.
out the door more.
Right, but
It's
that's
commonplace
what you
in
gotta
every genre.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
terrible metal music. There is terrible country music that has no meaning. There's terrible. What other kind of music is there? I mean, dubstep, rave music. Don't even get me started on rave music. But
EDM.
I'll never understand the thing with like going to raves and stuff like that. I'm not demeaning it. I don't get it.
I mean, to me, like, I agree when I say like, I don't find it fun to go to a giant like. Do I want to go to like EDC or something like that, like Electric Daisy Carnival? Yeah, because I like the artists that are there. But like, I'm not gonna go there, eat some shrooms, down some LSD, and like trip balls the entire weekend for the sake of being part of the rave culture. I'm not gonna be going around giving people glow sticks and stuff like that.
And
'cause,
bracelets.
like, right? Like to me, that's like when I was younger, I thought that was kind of cool, and then I did some research on it, and like it's weird. Like you just meet random strangers and like hook up with people and like listen to music, and you kind of like you lose your hearing, and it just doesn't sound like a good time.
Would you almost say that's like the new, not necessarily hipster thing, but like, you know, the modern day version of Woodstock, that kind of culture?
I would
It's
say
now
yeah,
turned into the
like-
rave culture.
Right. I mean, like I would say it's not even like, because it's festivals. That's what it really is. Like, because people could even consider something like Warped Tour to be like a Woodstock for a different genre of music.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not a whole weekend, but it's like the idea of many artists getting together, a bunch of people like meeting up, then you're making new friends and you're listening to music all together, and like you're feeling the music and you're meeting your artists and meeting your idols and stuff like that. Like
I would say
it's
that
just-
there's more emphasis on drugs and the other part of that realm in
Right.
the
Mhm.
rave culture than
it's more I'd say
Warped.
it's more widely accepted.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
like
true.
when we were at Warp, like every person next to us was lighting up a bowl or a bong or a joint or a blunt, or like someone was like, oh, you got any shrooms? Like
no.
it's there, but it's not as pronounced, and it's not as like, I go to festivals so I can do cocaine or I can do LSD. Like
Even though I
that's
would say a
kinda-
large portion of people don't like, pot is one thing and so is drinking, but I would say the other kind of stuff isn't really that accepted, but at least not in metal concerts, because I've seen people like get kicked out of concerts for stuff like that. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I went down to Rochester, and it was like this giant cathedral down there. It's like an old Christian Catholic church. I don't know if you know what
Okay.
I'm talking about, but it's
Probably
in
not,
Rochester.
no.
It's huge.
All right.
And it was Disturbed and Korn concert with a few other bands. And I went there with my mom and my dad because I was only like 13 or 14 at the time. And we went. It was a good time. I'm like, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, okay. So he went with me only because it's a huge crowd and I'm still a young kid.
Yeah.
And I saw someone doing cocaine off a urinal.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, that's some hardcore dedication. But I also saw that guy get kicked out later because he was
Yeah.
doing cocaine and actually threatening people and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, the Sacred Heart Cathedral in Rochester. I pulled it up on.
yeah, that sounds right. It was big and it was so hot in there.
Yeah, looks like a friggin' castle. Like,
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, so. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I remember I was on Twitter. I follow people that go to raves. Most of them being girls that I was friends with that now go to raves. And there was one thing I couldn't understand, so I asked because I saw a lot of girls that were wearing pacifiers. I'm like, what am I missing here? What's with the pacifiers? So I asked, I'm like, what is this? They said it's for like shroom or LSD, like mouth. You start tripping and you start like gnawing on your teeth or like, you know, chattering your teeth and stuff like that. So it's to stop you from
okay.
doing that. Which I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense. But from the outside
Yeah.
looking in, that's really goofy.
Weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's absolutely weird,
Yeah.
but it makes sense though. I get it why it's smart. But I've seen grown adults with pacifiers, and I'm like, that's either some really weird sex thing, which I'm fine with, or what I explained. Who knows? It could be both.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, but one thing that I will say is that like when I like if I ever listen to the radio to like a pop station, like it's odd for me because like I don't under like I listen to the music like maybe like 3 times. It's like probably 60 songs on repeat all day,
Yep.
and I'm like I guess I'm confused about it, where like I can listen to these songs 2 or 3 times and I have the lyrics and I have the beat memorized. Like, and that's I think it comes back to like making like dumbing down music so it's easier for people to listen to and remember, so that when they hear it, like it's almost like a marketing thing actually, because like if you hear somebody like mumbling lyrics in public, like they hear a song on the radio and they kind of sing along or sway to it and stuff, like you might ask what song is that, and then that might be another purchase for the song.
I mean, think about it. When you appeal to idiocracy, you're appealing to the majority.
Right.
Makes sense, as terrible as that is to say.
Yeah.
So this is also me and Steve not saying that you should go listen to different genres of music, or we're not trying to say one brand of music is better than the other. We're not saying that.
No,
So don't confuse it for that. But I am going to say that for at least me, and from what it sounds like for him, me and him just can't wrap our heads around why people like the music they like nowadays. Beat is one thing, but then again, if you separate the beat from the lyric, then that's what you like. You don't like the song, you just like the beats behind it.
Right. Like
it's not the same thing.
Right. Like honestly, like there have been times where I'll hear like a random generic like rap song by like Lil Xan or like 6ix9ine or Lil Tay or whatever. Like I don't freaking know
Lil Tay.
but like yeah. But I'll find these beats that they have like absolutely phenomenal, and then like I'll just look up an instrumental of the song, and then I'll find different lyrics and stuff over it. Like
that's why a lot of the covers that I've been finding for those pop songs are better.
yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing. Is just that would you agree that maybe the people are not really in love with the lyrics, just the beats of the music? But that only helps prove our point as to how shallow it's becoming when the beats is enough to entice you.
Right, exactly.
We're not saying it shouldn't be, but you're giving artists much more credit because a lot of them now only create the lyrics. Not even that.
Some of them don't even create the lyrics. They just create like they'll give their songwriters an idea that they want to base a song off of, and they can have songwriters that'll take this idea and spin it around into a song with a catchy chorus, and then they just sing it.
Reminds me of like when Family Guy memed Taylor Swift when she had like 2 old men writing her songs, but she was like, now we can change this to men and that to problems.
Yep.
Remember that? I can relate almost everything to Family Guy. I think that's a bad thing.
It just means you like Family Guy and you can relate to Family Guy. But also it means Family Guy is woke AF.
Oh, totally, man. Totally. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how woke.
Illuminati confirmed.
Like if you're not constantly telling the president to off himself, you're just not woke enough.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Get woke.
I can't handle with my constant like oppression with my Starbucks and my MacBook laptop. I'm too oppressed in life.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, before we start roaming off into a territory we shouldn't be going into.
Yep.
But even still, in the video description, you guys will find 2 videos. One is the one Steve mentioned, why modern music is awful. And then another video that I didn't really get a chance to watch all the way through, but it's Thoughty to Bad Music and the Decline of Pop Songs, my response. So someone responding to that same guy had a decent amount of views, was right underneath that video, so I said, why not? If people want both sides of the argument, you can have both sides of the argument. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, Aisha, it's not a spider, it's kind of like a scorpion spider hybrid, whatever you'd want to call that. She's talking about the gameplay.
Oh, okay.
From Devil May Cry. It's the first boss in the game. But anyway, you guys will find those in the description if you really want to check them out. That's like 40 or 50 minutes worth of content right there, I think. I think the video sent me was 20 or 30 minutes long, and the response was like 18 or 20. Something like that. I don't really have the timestamps memorized, but yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean that's some content to look in after the fact. I mean, I'm gonna go after we're done going live, and I'll probably look at that video as well.
Always like listening to them in the background when I'm gaming or when I'm doing something like washing dishes or doing some chores or whatnot. I do that a lot.
Are you narcissistic where you like to listen to your own podcasts when you're gaming in the background?
How about we stop judging me?
All right, buddy. All right.
I mean, to be fair, you're here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not totally about me. Also, I kind of like to listen back to our discussions and think about the things I didn't say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I hate doing that.
Like to listen to the melodic sound of my voice.
Well, everyone knows that they're here for me and not you. Everyone's here for me, Steve. Don't fool yourself.
This was my idea. You just made it a reality, and I named it.
But all the good looks, the audience, everything like that was me.
All right, hotshot.
I built this.
Hey, look, is it that time to leave the podcast because you do so well on your own? Because they come here for you and not me? What was that? Yeah?
I mean, if you want to leave, go right ahead, man.
Nah, I don't want to leave.
I mean, to be fair, and you've been late twice. You left me on my own one time.
Yeah, well, sorry. But
Mr.
Anyways,
Life.
The podcast could have started earlier without me, and I would have just kicked in the door and everyone would be like, oh, hey, Steve's here. Thanks for coming. We're so happy. I'm not a bad boy. Excuse you. Anyways.
He's a good Christian child.
Not on my good Christian Minecraft server.
I was drinking something.
All right. But let's get back to the topic on hand. So
what would you say are the prime examples that you would want to throw out there when it comes to, not the culprits, but when you think of poor pop music or just the non-ideal pop music, who would you look at or who do you think of?
I mean, I wouldn't even look at any general people because it's all relative, give or take. But it's the idea that we take, like, I'm sure everybody in the back of their mind, they think, like, man, it'd be so cool to be a music star. It'd be cool, like that one.
Yeah.
I think it's Nickelback. I want to be a rock star. Like,
oh yeah, by Nickelback.
Yeah.
I enjoy that song. I don't care what you think.
Yeah, Nickelback's not bad. Fight me.
I know, right?
Anyways, but like, it's the idea that in the back of everyone's mind, they wouldn't mind. They think it'd be kind of cool to be a rock star. And when some average Joe Schmo wants to make it big, he or she just does something bonkers crazy. I mean, like you gotta do stupid. You gotta be stupid to do stupid. And like, look at Danielle Bregoli, Catch Me Outside girl.
Oh,
she
man.
started out like, and we've referenced this before. She got famous because she disrespected her mother on TV, just genuine disrespect. And now she's a recording artist. Like, there's like, if you and like 6ix9ine, he wants to be a rapper, so he goes and tattoos 6ix9ine all over his face, gets rainbow hair, and joins the Bloods or the Crips or whatever. That's crazy.
I mean, when you think about it, though...
Well, I mean, like, and I'll give you one more example, and this one might make you think. You go with Eminem, a white man in a generally black man's genre, coming in and busting down doors, which would be at the time, it would be considered crazy and like completely unnatural.
I mean, at the time it happened, his pure existence and the fact that Dr. Dre even signed him caused a lot of problems. There was a mini race war, no joke, broken out because of that.
Yeah. And the thing with that was like a lot of people that come out of nowhere, so to speak, where you don't even remember where they come from. They just kind of appear with this hit single that gets like 5 million plays on Spotify and so on and so forth.
They're coming just from, the mumble rap factory.
Right. I mean, that's another story, but but if you trace back their like lineage, so to speak, their career history, chances are they did something outside the norm to get noticed. And that is what sparks a lot of these, not necessarily like bad, but not really like good, like these shallow music artists. It's the idea that a Joe Schmo can do something crazy and suddenly become a singer, like, or a rapper, or just artist.
I mean,
That's what I think the culprit is.
when you think about it, it's never been easier and almost at the same time harder to do it. So it's easier because you have these social media platforms. You could there's programs for free you can download. I mean, hell, for I think $100 you can upload your music to iTunes, and if people buy it for a little bit of money, you can have it uploaded to Spotify and people listen to it. So I mean, it's never been easier to get it heard, but now because everyone can do it, everyone is actively trying now. So now you have more competition.
So now you have to have a differentiating factor, and that's where like
The crazy people doing this nonsensical stuff is coming from because they
Or
need
not
some
even
way
like-
to stand out.
not even like that. They're just looking for a way to stand out. Like
Yeah, that's
if
what I
you
said.
looked at Katy Perry and you looked at like Nicki Minaj back when they were released in early 2000, when being this like social media influencer wasn't nearly as like common. Like I'm just looking at this angry face of Nicki Minaj. She has bright pink hair and all this crazy makeup. Like Katy Perry and like Lady Gaga, like what they wore in their music videos and to their concerts and to like galas and stuff was completely unnatural, and that's really what made them stand out and got them on the map. Like,
Even
'cause
though I've never really been able to attest that their music has been worth a second listen to, at least personally.
I'd say they're talented, but it's not my cup of tea.
I'm not going
Whereas-
to discard talent because there's a reason they've been relevant for as long as they have been. I'm
Right.
not going to discard that. I'm just going to say personally, their music's never done it for me.
Right, I agree. But like you can't deny that going to a school dance or to like a prom or something, their music was played and you knew the lyrics for the most part.
For the most part, yeah, but that's
knew
only
the
because not because you listened to it even, but because it was just shoved down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to a school dance and they play the same generic stuff. I mean, oh man, remember when "I've Got a Feeling Tonight's Gonna Be a Good Night" came out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That song when that came out, or
that was like we were in middle school, I think, when that. Came
yeah,
out.
or when like the stars are falling or the sky is falling or whatever. Like all those old romantic songs that came out. So when everyone thought they're going to marry
Counting
their
Stars,
Counting Stars, yeah, or when everyone thought they're going to marry their middle school sweetheart, all that nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, I remember those days, like the quote unquote
yeah.
middle school dances.
Oh, I remember when I was young and naive.
Oh man, I'm still am. I've learned a thing or two since then.
I'm not nearly as naive. I'm a crap ton more cynical now, but
Well, that just
also
comes with
for
growing up.
Other factors. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. It's just that I didn't actively listen to any of that music whatsoever. But I knew it for the most part because you go to a school dance, you heard it, you hear it on the radio, people play it at school. You know, it didn't. You couldn't escape it. It didn't matter what you did.
right. Have you ever noticed that now, like with this influx of like music that a lot of people don't really like, so to speak, like 6ix9ine and like Lil Tay or Xan or Bacon or whatever.
Lil Yachty.
Yeah, that's one. Lil Yachty. I've noticed that people are trying to capitalize on the fact like that they don't listen to that music. Like I've seen Tinder bios where they say, I listen to classic rock and I listen to heavy metal. Like if you don't like my music, F you or something like
Or
that.
you're
It's like-
you're too woke for your own good, or some nonsense like that. Like I listen to '80s rock, or I listen to the Beatles because I don't follow societal norms, or I like classic stuff, and classic stuff has to be better. Not necessarily. No, it doesn't have to be better. Sure, the video that we linked argues that it is better, but not every.
that's from a scientific standpoint, where the depth of the music was processed in a different way, in that you felt the music more because they had more literal depth to it. I mean,
Well, you're
more,
right.
timbre.
Comparing it to the popular music of today, but not everything that's released today. I wouldn't say everything we release today cannot compare to the lyricism back then. I wouldn't say that. I would say that largely there is music that probably could, or it does meet. The problem is, it's just that it doesn't fit the popular category, so it's just not as heavily listened to. The Beatles are legends. It doesn't matter how far away we get from the time of their deaths. Everyone's going to know who they are. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Same with the Rolling Stones. Same with Def Leppard. Same with AC/DC.
AC/DC, yeah.
It doesn't matter how far away we get from when they were relevant to now. Everyone's going to know who they are. Everyone's going to know who Kiss is. Everyone at least should know who Kiss is. I've seen them live. So
Because in their day, they were the Michael Jackson. They were the Katy Perry, the Miley Cyrus, the 6ix9ine, the Lil Yachty of their day. And genres and interests of society have changed, apparently. And so it does make a difference.
It does make a difference. And I think I'm not trying to argue that the music today is worse. I would just say that it's slightly depressing that the depth of which the music is willing to go has become so incredibly shallow. Like, to quote one of my favorite things from a cartoon series, I could stand in a puddle of this music and not get my feet wet. Meaning that it's so shallow, there's nothing to it. So it's actually genuinely saddening, because I'm not going to try and sit here and say metal music is the best because it's depressing and has real lyricism. There are some rap songs, like, for example, one of our favorites, Whit Lowry, has amazing lyricism and great meaning behind his music. Sure, some of it's a little repetitive at times, but he's still
even
really
like
good.
Eminem or like Hollywood Undead, where they're talking about where they're talking about going out and partying. Like, the music, it's more relatable, so to speak. Like,
I mean, sure. I mean, I like their music because it's funny to listen to when you're drinking, you're having some fun with your buddies. But I'm not going to sit there and think, I want real lyricism out of this. Now, granted, they have done some songs in the past that were great.
Oh, absolutely.
Black Dahlia being one of my personal favorites.
Pour Me.
Yeah. So maybe not everything is a party song from then either, but the ability to go from one to the other is important, where some of these artists demonstrate that either they won't or they can't.
Right. I will say that, like, going actually off of this comment that King Octopus just said, we're not going to remember 6ix9ine, but we'll remember Michael Jackson. I think it's about who they reach out. And yes, there's these famous artists, but they're reaching a much smaller demographic than, like, the Beatles or Kiss or AC/DC. Because if 6ix9ine's at the top of his career, which probably on the way down, thank God.
Considering what's going on, he's on a spiral.
Yeah, but you reach the peak of your career, but people don't know you. They don't know your lyrics. They don't know your. They know your face because your name is tattooed on your face.
But they don't know your lyrics. They don't know you.
Right. But like with Kiss, like Detroit Rock City, like super iconic song. And like it's literally about just going out on the town. Like that's all it's
different
about.
Song I know, but I want to rock and roll. And
all night, yeah.
Party every day.
Yeah. Oh, copyright strike.
Oh, yeah, with YouTube's new algorithm, just mentioning these musics, and I guess claimed, apparently.
Yep.
But that's the funny thing about it, though, is just that you may not be able to maybe recognize their faces. Like, if you told me to recognize the guys from AC/DC, could I do it? Probably not. Could I quote their music to a pretty accurate degree? Absolutely. So it's funny how it's become a reversal. Now we recognize the faces, not the lyrics.
Right.
It's completely backwards.
And also I've noticed, like, the heyday of, like, popular music is becoming increasingly and much more increasingly shorter. Like, you might be relevant for, like, a year. Like, this, like, Nicki Minaj, it's amazing. She's made it, like, almost 10 years. Like, but, like, AC/DC, like, they were big, like, before you and I were around, and there are still people out there. There are still stations out there that blast that like they're still touring and doing concerts like in their heyday.
Oh yeah, but I would say that certain things have helped them maintain relevancy, such as a certain Marvel superhero that blasts AC/DC in every single one of his movies or appearances.
I mean, yeah.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Iron Man. But my point is just that it would be for them specifically. They've had a little bit of help maintaining relevancy, but even without that, they still would. It doesn't matter.
Right. I personally think they would because they reach a larger demographic of people. Like, I grew up in suburbia. You grew up relatively in suburbia as well. And, like, we're not, like, Detroit Rock City type people, like, where we're in the city of Detroit. But our parents listen to that music. We listen to that music. I can't name 5 people that listen to Lil Yachty.
No, I can't either.
But I can name 25 that listen to AC/DC.
Or at least 25 people that have, at a minimum, heard of them or can at least quote almost one song.
Well, people have heard of them, but, like, you put, like, Lil Xan, Lil Yachty, 6ix9ine, and you put, like, a bunch of the mumble rap artists in the row and play all their songs, I can't tell the difference. I don't know the difference between any of them. you give me Metallica, Kiss, AC/DC, I can tell you who is what and where is what. And I'm gonna say that it will come down to a factor, because I'm sure there's people that can point out the differences in these mumble rappers, but like,
Oh yeah.
I think it's because I care about these other genres and these other bands more than the mumble rappers. But like, there are times that like I listen to a lot of hip hop, like Ivan B, Ollie B, Whit Lowry, Eminem, and like there's some times where I forget who's singing what lyric. Like I recognize the song, I recognize that I know this song and I can know the lyrics, but I forget who the artist is. But I think it's like I care more about it, so I look into it more.
So there's two things to consider. So one, would you almost say that when it comes to the pop artists these days, it's not so much now that it's becoming a factory, a pump machine of just the same stuff over and over again. Would, like anything else, would you just say that the genre's been around long enough to where almost anything you could reasonably do has been done, and the only real differentiating factors now are going to be your lyrics? I mean, relatively speaking, the beats are always going to be somewhat the same. There's no way, there's not going to be some new revolution where the beats for this one song are so out of the way and so crazy that everyone has to go and listen to this song.
There's a reason why music is a science and less of just a phenomenon.
Exactly. And that's why I think nowadays everything's going to sound relatively the same. Now, the true artists, to me, are the people who can take the beat of the song and really match it to the feeling you're supposed to get from the music. Because I've listened to some pop songs where the beat is so out of the way from what the song is supposed to be. The song lyrics are depressing and melancholic, but it's some real uptight, real heavy beat. And I'm like, what am I supposed to feel for this? Am I supposed to go crash my ex's party and pour a shot on her face? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. What am I supposed to feel from this? And I think that's the problem, where the good ones, Whit, when you listen to the song, the melancholic feel in the background, like Whit Lowry's Last Letter, one of my favorite songs, you know what you're supposed to feel with that song. You know what you're supposed to feel in Mockingbird. You know what you're supposed to feel in When I'm Gone. You know it. You can feel it. Right. You don't need the lyrics to understand it.
But then here's one, Bullet by Hollywood Undead. That's a song about suicide, but it's an upbeat song. So by your definition, you should be confused when you listen to Bullet instead of like, because you hear a happy beat and then you hear the lyrics and like you should just be confused by that. You shouldn't even like enjoy it, so to speak.
But what matters is how you meld it or how you mesh it. So, for example, my point being is just that if the lyrics are inherently depressing, the beat doesn't have to be part of it. Right. And I know it's kind of hypocritical of what I just said, but it depends on how well you match to it. So if how you sound, the lyricism sound down, depressed, the beats are up and happy, it doesn't mesh. There's two totally different tones to be had. Where in Bullet, I've probably heard the song, I can't think of it right now. But if the lyrics or the people singing the song are matching the beat, upbeat, happy, things like that, even though the song inherently is depressing, it still sounds better than when you have two completely different tones that you don't know what you're supposed to do with. Which goes again back to your whole point of music is a science, because it is. It's all about how your brain registers what you're supposed to feel and what you feel with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you get my point here? I'm not saying that just because a song is depressing, the beats have to be, or the background has to be. What matters is how you, the artist, sound with the beats you are having with it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, let's go through a couple of the top 100 songs, just from Billboard.com. Okay. Number 1, Old Town Road.
I honestly, it sounds terrible, but I haven't heard it and I can't listen to it. Actually, Steve, name off some of these songs. Let me play a snippet on my own real quick.
Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, Nas space X. Number 2, Sunflower by Post Malone and Swali. Number 3, Seven Rings, Ariana Grande. Number 5, Without Me, Halsey. Number 7, Bad Guy, Billie Eilish.
I gave up. I gave up. Listen to like 20 seconds of it. I gave up.
Number 20, Sicko Mode, Travis Scott.
I haven't heard that either, but there were so many memes of that song being made.
It was memed because they did it at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Because they had the Bikini Bottom.
Oh, right. Everyone was so mad at them for that.
Yep. Yeah.
So what do you
I would just go to
noticing?
Billboard.com and just they have a little thing you can just play a snippet of like the most like the
Well,
relevant
here,
part of
send
the
me the
song.
link to it.
All right. You know, I'll just drop it into the live chat so everyone can go and
I
listen.
mean,
To
that's what I was
these.
gonna do anyway.
Yeah, there you go. It just plays like a 20-second snippet of it.
As much as I would love to, I can't do that. I've had videos that are old of mine that were completely fine copyright wise are now being claimed by YouTube now. I have a video that's over 2 years old on my channel, back when I hit only 2,000 subscribers, being claimed by YouTube.
Why?
For copyright, for the music. Just now is it a problem, over 2 years later.
That's ridiculous.
It really is, man. That's why I'm trying to completely
so
avoid playing music in general right now.
Yeah.
Do you guys see the link? Maybe it's just taking a second to register. Because I see that you put it in there, but it's not showing up in the chat. But what are you noticing? What's the common theme of what you're noticing with those songs?
They're all very similar genre-wise. Hang on, this thing's playing for some reason. Pause. Oh, I don't listen to that. I find it ironic because they're all like these are just top 100 like overall of popularity in the just the Billboard charts. But they're all very poppy. They're all like I see like rap up High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. That's more like pop, like almost
Rock-ish?
pop punk, I guess. Panic at the Disco started out as rock, and they've really kind of changed their sound.
So they kind of did a Bring Me the Horizon thing then?
Yeah, so to speak.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all very similar, so to speak. Just listening to some of these, I'm just listening to some of these, like they're all very similar with a very heavy like single like bass line in the back, and then like the lyrics on top of it, which I find like there's one country song that's 26 that I've seen so far. Help Murder on My Mind, 21.
It's interesting how a lot of it all just kind of melts together. Is there, okay, here's a good question. For me, because I can't look at the link. Is there any metal music on there or rock music on there?
I'm looking. I just sent to you in Discord.
Okay, let's take it. Let me see for myself.
Yeah. Like, I see some country. I see a lot of like hip hop. I see a little bit of like EDM. Yeah, like Blake Shelton.
I'll go closer to the bottom and see.
Yeah, I'm at like 70 and none.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Old Dominion. That's kinda.
Can't nobody tell me.
Stop it!
Yeah.
The ads are playing music. You're gonna get me copyright striked. I hate you. Monopoly, Ariana Grande. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but I haven't really listened to her music. I can't say it's bad, but when her music started coming out after Mac Miller's death, I swear I wanted to just sort of slap people on my Twitter timeline because everything I saw was 3 words. 3 words.
Thank you. Next.
Yes. And I was honestly on a downward spiral of pure depression. Like, I hate this. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this popular?
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. Like
It was entirely annoying. I'm not saying I want everyone quoting Amity or Avenged Sevenfold in my timeline either. I'm not saying I want that. But at the same time, everyone's saying this. I'm like, do you even know what it's about, or do you even care? Did you even listen to the song? I guarantee most people who quoted it didn't even listen to the song.
right. Like they just see it as like thank you next. Like
I just started quoting people saying, thank you, next tweet, because this is trash.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember me saying that to people.
Yep. Ugh. And I gotta follow different stuff. I gotta follow different people.
So one of the things that me and Steve do, whenever we hear something that we like, for example, I found someone that I listen to now a lot, Hotel Books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I found them through a buddy of mine when I started writing music. And I wrote my first song, and I sent it to him. He's like, it reminds me of these guys. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll listen to that. I found the one song that he sent me, just one. And, oh, my Lord, I was in love with it. And if you guys haven't listened to Hotel Books, I strongly suggest it. The lyricism is otherworldly. And I mean that because it, to me, in comparison to what I've listened to a lot, and this even goes for the metal music that I listen to, this really surpasses a lot of what I've heard up until this point. Like, it's very, very deep. And I think Steve even will agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well,
yeah, how is your music writing coming?
I'm not going to lie, I've kind of had to take a side off to it with all these other projects, the podcast, the streaming, and moving. I've honestly kind of stopped writing at the moment, but I do need to get back into it. My goal was to have something out by the end of the year. That was my goal, but we'll see how that goes.
Do you have any other, because last I knew you had one complete song. Do you have anything else written? Just curious.
I have some ideas, nothing fully fleshed yet.
Okay. Hang on. I have to get it away from the mic for a minute.
All right. Well, the link is also in my Discord if you guys want to see it. But I've been listening to them a lot recently. I think one of the things that's the most... It's kind of like an inadvertent poison for me. I don't know about you guys, but I love music a lot, but I've come to recognize that a lot of what I listen to is very depressing. I've noticed that a lot, and I don't know how to... Not saying I don't know how to fix it, but the opposite of that, from what I've been able to see, is I listen to either things that are depressing or just relatively around the same genre, or I listen to what me and Steve are actively criticizing at this very moment. So I'm kind of like a crossroads of I don't know what to listen to anymore. It's either
listen to everything.
I can't. I can't.
Give pop a try, Matt.
No. I've done that. I've given country a try too. And besides old country, like what your elders would call the real brand of country,
Johnny Cash,
yeah, Toby Keith. I can't do the new things. I just can't. Because it's not really country. It's pop music mixed with country.
With a country twang to it, like how if I talk for a long time, I start to get a little bit of country twang.
Yeah, I start slurring my words and noticing that my cousin looks damn good in those denim shorts.
I've got a song to show you. It's called Cowgirl Doggy Style.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look it up. It's really funny.
So I can actively criticize, considering the fact that I grew up in what many will call a redneck family and was born in El Paso, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
For people who didn't know that, I was born in Texas.
For people that don't know, I was born in Russia.
Yeah,
that means I can blast the communist or the Soviet Union national anthem anytime I want.
No, that just means you'll get a swift kick in the nuts of justice from good old America. You can't play that commie crap here.
Well, I can try.
I mean, the funny thing is that Steve's more capitalist than most people I know. Steve.
Yeah. I literally...
I left the call. Wait for it. Wait for it. Behave. We do not do that here.
Anyways, now that I got that out of my system.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny because Steve's more capitalist than most people I know. That's the funniest thing about it, is just that Steve's had debates with people about communism and socialism, being the one who was actively born in a communist country.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
There's so much irony in it. It makes me laugh so much.
Mm-hmm. Kind of got off topic a little bit.
And that's pretty standard with us. I'm sure you figured that out by now.
Oh, I know, but I mean, does the audience have anything to say to us? I mean, besides that we have a cowboy in our midst.
Well, it's funny because, as Steve can also tell you, I do not show any signs of cowboyism or being from the South. If I didn't tell you, you would have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I had
dress
no idea.
like
I
one.
didn't believe it when he told me.
I know.
He told me, and I'm just like, well, you're not. You're like from friggin' Buffalo, dude. Like, I've seen how you act. You're not wearing no jeans with some cowboy hat and running around yelling yee with a can of dip in your mouth.
Look, man.
What you
Everyone asks.
business.
Everyone always asks, yeehaw, but they never ask how is my yeehaw. It's depressing.
You're the yee to my haw, Martin.
This is terrible.
All right.
I'm hating this.
All right, then let's try again. Music. Why does it suck? All right, Matt, here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do with the influx of this awareness about mental disorders and how depression is becoming much more prominent in society, why is it that people don't listen to music or that make them that is relatable?
I think that goes back to the individual. So some people, the mass majority, I would have to say, unfortunately, will listen to something like 6ix9ine, all these different kind of artists that brag about things that they do. Most individuals listen to that and say, I listen to this, I identify with this purely because they do the things that I wish I could be doing. Does anyone really want to go to a 9-to-5 job, or would they rather be having sex with beautiful women driving a car that's super fast, that's really sexy, not working a day in your life? What would most people rather have?
Obviously, you want to work the least amount and get the most from it.
Exactly. So my thing is, for me, is just I don't necessarily know. I couldn't really put a pinpoint into why people don't listen to depressing things, but I think it goes back to the individual coping mechanisms. People like me will listen to things that explain how I feel, so that way I feel like I'm not alienated.
I'm the same way.
Right. So when I listen to things like Amity, Hotel Books, things like that, when I listen to their lyrics, it makes me feel like I know that I'm understood to some degree, and that I'm not as alone as I think I am mentally, which for me is the most reassuring thing I could possibly have. Whereas other people, when they listen to music, they want to escape from their world. They want to escape
from reality. Oh, right. There goes gravity. Oh,
Mom's spaghetti.
Yes.
Anyway.
You got that.
Yes, obviously, of course I got that. Anyway. My point being, though, is I think it goes back to the individual. Some people are going to use music as an escape, while other people are going to use it as being understood. Me and you use it to be understood. Because largely, as our podcast purely suggests, 8 episodes later, you and I don't feel mentally accepted by the large norms of society. Me and Steve aren't trying to say that we're woke or that we're more intelligent. Me and him have just largely, for the past few years, have come to the conclusion that we just aren't as standard as everybody else. Not for better or for worse. We're just different.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we started doing the podcast, because it's a way that we can reach out and then try to be understood, so to speak.
And it's another inadvertent coping method for the both of us. It's kind of become not a personal soapbox for either of us, but a way that we can talk about what we want to talk about with like-minded individuals. So that way, when you have people like you guys or each other, that where we feel like, okay, these people understand me, so I'm not as alone as I think I am. It doesn't matter.
It's also not.
Go ahead.
It's also you just destroyed the point I was gonna make. Or rather, I did it. I was gonna say it's also nice not being interrupted by people when they want to get into a shouting match with you. But I just totally interrupted you.
Your point defeats itself. You become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Not again.
It's over, Steve. I have the high ground.
Well, technically, if I was in Australia, I'd have that.
Well, you're not in Australia, so...
You don't know that.
Fair point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the topic I had. Because, I know a lot of people, there are some songs that help people cope with, depression and, we've all listened to, sad, sappy songs when we go through breakups because it helps us feel understood. But, people that, have, almost like a high-functioning, anxiety or like a high functioning stress, it almost seems like they don't try to be understood because they don't want to be. They'd rather be that different person.
I remember I saw a post on Facebook the other day, and it kind of spoke to me personally too, is that some people don't want to be fixed, they just want a reason to be broken so that way people pay attention to them.
Yeah, it comes back to attention.
Yeah. Which there's a really, really gray area for that, because some people, genuinely do want to get better. It's just everything about them goes against what they know they have to do to get better. I mean, for example, for me personally, if I want to fix a lot of my personal problems, one of the things I would have to start doing is eating better, going and working out more, things like that.
Fixing your ego. Mm-hmm.
What ego?
You're stubborn. You're
okay. I thought you were joking about it. I'm like, what ego? It's not necessarily goes back to ego. It goes back to comfort.
Right, but like I remember you tweeted out earlier. Like, we're gonna go into, I guess, diving into mental health a little bit. But
of course, on me.
You tweeted out about going to you're a psychologist for the first time, or like a counselor, and they're telling you how you hold on to so much anger with people because they said that you should forgive them, and you don't believe that you should forgive them.
No, you're right. I don't. Because personally, I believe people don't deserve forgiveness, because when you give them that forgiveness, the only thing they personally learn is that what they did was okay.
But that's when you forgive them, but you don't tell them you forgive them. So but you personally would need to forgive, so that way your mental state can move forward from it, or else you're just going to dig yourself into a rut.
Yes and no. The reason I would say no is because with those certain people, forgiving them goes against my moral code, personally. That's why when the things that these people have done to me or to people around me, even friends such as you or anyone else, personally family, forgiving them requires justifying to me somehow, because of how I work, that what they did at some point was okay, or was okay at some point. I'm not saying that I live my life perfectly moral. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I can comfortably say that I have never done the things that I hate people for.
Right.
So there's a difference there. So that's why when I say that I refuse to forgive, it's not because I don't want to heal myself. It's because forgiving them would go against what I personally stand by. It compromises my personal beliefs. It compromises everything that I stand for. Mm-hmm. So I get your point, but that's me too. And the thing is this: I wouldn't go for these appointments if I didn't realize that this was a problem. I actively know it's a problem.
Oh, right. But just addressing it as a problem is the first step in fixing the problem. But it sounds like to me that you're actively taking steps to not get better. You're addressing the problem, you're making it known, but you don't want to take the steps required beyond addressing the problem to fix the problem.
But again, in this particular instance,
that's just my opinion, though.
Right, but at the same time, that's also, no offense, but that's complete ignorance, purely because, what would you say, how would I fix that? Just saying, yeah, forgive him and move on? Because at that point, it requires me having to go against everything that I know mentally how I work. The reason why it's a problem is because of how I know I am and how I know I have to be, how I live my life. And you and I both know this. It defies everything that I know. It defies everything of how I take and run my life. It's not a fact of I refuse to acknowledge my issues. It's not a fact of I don't take any steps to do it. Because again, you don't know that. You're not here.
Right.
So I get your point from the outside looking in. But to counter that, the reason I say that is because it's so much harder for me to do that, because like I keep saying, I would have to rework my entire head. It's not as easy as I would make it out to be, as people would make it out to be. At some point, like I've said before, everyone does become their own problem, and everyone is the plight of their own issues. I understand that. But think about it, Steve. If I wasn't actively trying to get better, I'd be dead.
I know.
So it's not ignorance on my own part. I would say that, yeah, I've stalemated myself a few times, and yes, I've hit a wall a few times, but that comes at any point with getting better. I don't think anyone just makes progress nonstop. I don't think that the process of getting better always goes full force, constant progress. I don't think it goes that way. I would say that most people end up hitting that wall, not necessarily regressing, but back and forth. It's a tug of war. Because if it was truly that easy, everyone would do it.
Right.
So that's kind of my point, I guess, of what I want to try to say. And yes, Shade, I do remember you. And also, I would go on Dr. Phil, but he's a YouTube demon. If you didn't know that. A joke being is that he copyrights everything that has to do with him.
Honestly, we'll probably get copyrighted for saying his friggin' name.
No, really, we just might. It's that bad for him. It's
How narcissistic are you, dude? Like, damn. Or how insecure are you, dude? Damn.
yeah, because some of my favorite YouTubers that have made videos on him, even PewDiePie, like, well, he's not one of my favorites, but everyone knows PewDiePie and what he does. Whenever people have made videos on Dr. Phil, he immediately copyrights it. But he doesn't take the video down. You know what he does? He claims the monetization on it, so he just takes the money from it.
Yep.
At that point, I
We
just
should all
delete the
do that
video.
to him. Yeah, we should do that to him.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. You're
I could
using
just-
my likeness. Why? Because I'm ugly and fat like you.
If I looked like him but got paid what he did, I don't know if I'd mind it so much. Because that man's pretty well off, I gotta admit. Or if I made the money that Ellen did. Although I don't know what Ellen's show is. What is it? Is it a talk show?
It's a talk show. She has guests on, gives stuff away to the audience, dances around a lot, plays music, has stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm asking because I've never understood the point of the show. I didn't know if it was like a show like Dr. Phil or what's that other guy? The guy who used to be like a cop. It's not Dr. Not Maury, but the other one. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the guy. It's not Maury, but a guy who worked in a security guard for Maury or Dr. Phil for years.
Mm-hmm.
But like this show's a bit different, where people like really get involved, like physically, like there's fights and stuff like that. It's pretty funny, all things considered.
Yep. Jerry Springer.
No, it's not Springer.
I thought you said it wasn't Maury.
It's not more. Maybe it is Springer. I don't know. There is somebody else though. I can't think.
I just remember because people are always chanting Jerry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, anyway, back to that. Mentioning Dr. Phil getting copyright striked. Waiting for that moment to happen. I'll click off this video, go to add this to our playlist of podcasts, and claimed by Dr. Phil UMG.
Yeah.
But
I
is there
wouldn't
anything
take
else
the
that
video down because it doesn't matter. You don't get any views anyways.
Isn't that like an insult to yourself because you're here?
Eh.
I mean, I'm just saying. Exactly. But was there anything else you want to say on the topic we had before we went on that Dr. Phil, Jerry Springer tangent?
I mean, I think we covered most of it pretty well. Like, it's not like there's really so much to say.
Not necessarily. Well, yeah, I mean, there isn't really that much to say because, again, the problem that me and Steve have run into is when we and him tend to agree on just about everything,
it becomes an echo chamber.
And we can't really have good discussion because we agree on everything.
Right, we don't have any, like, anyone playing devil's advocate. We don't have any opposition.
Well, we try to play devil's advocate to each other like Steve just did for me. Mm-hmm. Inherently, when I re-explain myself, he understands my point, and then it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It ends up being that more often than not. So we try to play the devil's advocate for each other, but it tends to kind of just fall flat after a while.
Yeah.
Why not add lo-fi? I mean, we could start adding music. It's just like the problem with it is that YouTube. Steve Wilkos, thank you. Yeah, with Steve Wilkos. Emily's right. Steve Wilkos.
Okay, yeah.
That's the guy I was talking about.
Okay.
Well, the problem with YouTube is, like I just explained earlier, a video of mine that's over 2 years old is now being copyright claimed by YouTube. That's over 2 years old. And it was copyright claimed by Steve. Here, I'll show you the screenshot real quick. I'll send it to you on Snapchat. Look at the amount of people that claimed this. It's absolutely absurd. Take a look at this. Mm-hmm. Let me find it. Boom. Here you go. Look at that.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Count it up. I tweeted that link out too, so if you guys want to actually see the amount of people who claimed it, I'll get it for you.
17 people. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. And that video is over 2 years old.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly. So that's the problem. Is just that it may be uncopyrighted now, but clearly nothing stops YouTube from just claiming old stuff. My old Alistair videos are still getting claimed now, and they're unlisted. You can't even watch them. I'm like, what's the point in this?
Dang. You just defeat the purpose of even like having YouTube. Like, if you can't like positively spread like content, then why make it? Like, why have it on this? Like, I'm waiting for the new YouTube, dude.
I am too. I'm really actually sad about YouTube's state because it's defeating creativity. They're taking away everything that a creator can do. Because it used to be you can use whatever music you want, but if it's copyrighted, you just don't get any money from it. And sure, whatever. But now people can just take your videos down, claim the money on them, whatever. It's and to the point where they can claim anything. You can mention music and it gets copyright striked. You can literally have a snippet of it in the background for like 5 seconds, like my one YouTube video I did. A 30-minute video had 10 seconds of a song, it got claimed. The entire 30-minute video, as a result of that, got claimed for that 10 seconds. All the other 29 minutes and 50 seconds of content was claimed for that 10 seconds.
See, like, what I don't understand is, like, where the hell do they draw the line? Like, pardon my language,
exactly.
Where do they draw the line?
Well, that's that's why everyone's mad at YouTube, because they keep saying we're going to give to our creators, while they keep taking more and more away.
Right, like, they're going to drive them to a different platform. And, like, it'll be like YouTube starting over, but at the same time, like, YouTube is almost too big to fail now. Like,
it's too big to fail, and the problem with YouTube is it's so big, it's at the helm of it's at the mercy, I should say, of every major studio in the world. Yeah, like, so I don't say it's not necessarily YouTube's fault, as is the greedy nature.
They're trying to cover themselves so they don't lose YouTube as a whole, rather than like, because I'm pretty sure like Sony's tried to buy out YouTube. I'm sure like Panasonic has tried to buy out YouTube, but like Google got them, and I mean it works well with the whole like algorithms and stuff. But like the problem is that YouTube, like, they're trying to protect themselves before they protect their creators.
Well, that's the thing. It's just that when they start taking away everything that makes creators create and be creative, all those tools away, the only thing what they're trying to do is YouTube's trying to maintain its its ad revenue, its sponsorships. And the problem now is just that, for example, if you noticed, I don't swear in my YouTube videos now. Because I can't. Because if I swear, my video gets age restricted. I could say, I could drop one F-bomb, boom, I'm 18 plus only. Which really hurts you as a creator, if you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because now your video will not show up on the algorithm.
It's like being shadow banned.
It is, yeah. So when that happens, your video gets basically removed from YouTube's algorithm. It's not going to show up anyone's recommended. You just get screwed because now you can't do anything. So that's why. But the problem is, I'm not saying people should have the ability to swear or do whatever. But again, where's the line? Because that violates literally freedom of speech. And the excuse of it's their platform, they can do whatever they want. Just like, oh my God, I was watching a video today, and this is really off topic, but at this point, I don't think it really matters. Now, me and Steve are just going off on rants.
Yep.
Literally, the Overwatch League, Blizzard has banned the peace sign, the OK sign, not the peace sign, the OK sign, from being shown at events. Meaning you cannot flash the OK sign at an event because people think it's symbolic with white supremacy. Meaning that if you pay money to go to this Overwatch League event, at this big stadium, flash the OK sign, you'll be escorted out of the building. Don't believe me? Look it up.
That's nuts. Like, that's absolutely insane.
Where is the line? Do you want to know why?
People paying for that that's it.
Literally, the OK sign 1 used to be a meme for Overwatch itself years ago with the first early seasons, and not only that, but people don't understand that it was made a meme because of 4chan. It literally became a meme because people started taking the W that your fingers make and the P that your thumb and your pointer finger make, and the other 3 is a W. So it looks like a WP, white power. Oh my God, it's so woke. This is how white supremacists are communicating to each other. No, it's not. If really white supremacists want to communicate with one another, they're not going to do it with a symbol as recognizable as that.
Literally.
They'd make up a brand new code for it. Do people not think? But that's the point. It's just that where is the line with freedom of speech? It's being violated just about everywhere. Because now, if you go on Twitter and say something that everyone doesn't agree with, that's controversial, people have gotten canned from their jobs. People have been threatened. People have been attacked just for saying some not woke stuff on social media. Like, oh my God, they said this. This is the school they go to. This is where they work. Fire them. Throw food at them. Throw shit at them. Do whatever. I don't care. Get them fired. Ruin their life. Where is the line? That's literally textbook fascism.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It just aggravates me. It's just, ugh. Because the problem with it is this. When you start policing people like this, you become the very thing you hate. You love freedom of expression. You love people expressing themselves. But the minute they disagree with you, shut it down. Can't happen. Where's the line?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking.
The line is wherever the person with the check is.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah, I'll see if I can, I'll find that article for you. So Steve, take the helm for a second.
All right. Well, so my thought on the whole thing is when, like, YouTube started out as YouTube Broadcast Yourself, and that was their slogan. And the goal with YouTube was to make a free, like, internet-wide website to communicate, like, your content to other people. And it was just started out as a very innocent thing. And then as it got bigger and it got more comfortable, like, then you had people going in and saying, oh yeah, like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it ended up becoming more about the money rather than about the content itself. And that's where the problem with YouTube exists, where they had to, like, develop an algorithm for what videos are shown, what videos are not, based on who's paying them to broadcast their content. And it's not you, me, like me with my YouTube channel, everybody here who has their own channel, Martin with 10,000 subscribers pushing military content. Like, it's about the sponsors and the people who want the it's about the people who want to pay the company to push their agenda, so to speak, before their other creators.
Well, the funny thing for me is this. So I just looked it up. Google bought YouTube for $1.65 billion in 2006. Mm-hmm. YouTube's been around since what, 2003, 2004?
2005.
Right, so which means over a year of time, after only a year, it was worth that much money. Think about it. Much like the United States in general, and much like YouTube, they're young. When I say the United States, we're one of the youngest countries in the world. If you guys keep forgetting that. Mm-hmm. So YouTube itself was thrown into a position where they had a lot of reach, a lot of ability to do these things. But then, as people started uploading videos of music, artists were like, "Why are people being able to make money off my music? Why is that not mine? You know, it's my music, and they're using it for their gain. What is this? Mm-hmm. Why is this acceptable? That can't be okay." So YouTube really quick had to try to find a line between copyright and creativity. The problem with it is now it's just that unless everything you create is wholly original, you don't get anything from anything, or from anything from whatever you make. And the problem is this: not everyone can create music, not good music anyway. Not everyone can be wholly original. Not you know what I'm saying? Is that sometimes, for example, anyone who's a gaming YouTuber is automatically not original. Anyone who, even I'm not an original military YouTuber. That's been done way before me and will be done way after me. Nothing is wholly original. So when you take away the few finite tools that let your creators express themselves, you take away just about everything else. Mm-hmm. So what are you left with? It's basically be either wholly original or get out. Or make really boring content. Like, I don't think my content's fun to watch. I can't have fun music in the background.
It's beneficial. But
it's beneficial, but it's not fun for me to make now because I can't do anything with it. I'm limited extremely because I have to have all my creativity on Twitch or on my podcasts. Like, that's why my Twitch is so over the top. That's why the podcast, I explain this kind of stuff and why it's upsetting me. It's the same reason why I don't upload much anymore, because it's become the very thing I don't like. Just creative. What is the word I'm looking for? It's dead creatively. There isn't much I can do with it. There's not a lot I can do to the content to spice it up. Besides jumping out of an airplane or something like that, be a whole military, besides jumping out of an airplane or actually becoming an MTI. There's very few things I can do at this point in my career or at this point in my life to make my content amazing, because I don't make a whole lot of money to go and do creative things like, flex a new car or whatever. I can't do a whole lot. I'm kind of limited on that end. So right now, there's very few things that creators can do to really express themselves if they lack the creative ability beyond just what they intend to do. Gaming, vlogging, whatever.
Like, the most the YouTubers that benefit the most from YouTube are vloggers.
Oh, absolutely.
Simply because they're not limited on what they can or can't do. Like, I've seen people where, like, one of the big YouTubers that I watched, Do It With Dan. He started out as a moto vlogger. He hit 1 million subscribers. And now that he has like 1 million subscribers, he's finally able to branch out into a different direction. He's becoming more of like a vlogging car channel, so to speak. And there's still gonna like he drives Camaros around, and he goes and like hangs out with his friends and stuff and races people and stuff like that, goes on trips. And that's what he's able to do now because he's developed his audience to a point where it's big enough that it's not just people who came to watch him from motovlog.
Right, and well, Octopus, there's a lot of reasons why I don't upload that much, but even still, I'm not going to go into that realm too much. But the problem now is that YouTube also has a massive favoritism problem. So people, again, because they're a great example, because they're everything basically wrong with it, the Logan Brothers, or most notably React channels. This is going to sound like a horrible word to use, but I'm going to show you how much they violated. Those kind of people rape copyright law because, but this is the problem. YouTube protects them because they're the faces. But if you're not a face of YouTube, well, tough, I want to swear so bad, tough nonsense. You can't do it. You're not big enough. And that's why when people tell me to just upload what I want, yeah, inherently, I would love to just go back and upload my gaming video every now and again, or upload a vlog, and think that, yeah, it'll get around 2,000 views, which is what my videos usually get on an average, but it won't. It's not going to. And that's the thing, is just that you make YouTube videos for them to be seen. The people who tell me to just upload what I want and not care about views, it's ignorant on my part, or ignorant on their part, because you make YouTube videos to be seen. No one wants to upload anything and have no one watch it. Because then what's the point?
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, because you could put a lot of work into a video, but Steve, you put it, like, for me, for example, you put a lot of work into a video and 10 people watched it. How does that feel?
It's annoying because you feel invalidated.
Exactly. Or, and for me, if I don't upload anything to do with the military, I've literally uploaded vlogs before, and people are like, where's the military content? I don't get anything from this. And people literally dislike the videos. I mean, hell, our music video got 10 dislikes right out the gate because it wasn't military related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, and that's really what it is, though. Like,
it took your guy that you just mentioned to 1 million subscribers, a gold frickin' play button, to finally branch out. Now, granted, he probably could have done it sooner, but 1 million is a pretty solid number to where you build a pretty dedicated fan base.
Oh, yeah.
So by that time, yeah, sure, but for me, if I really wanted to get back into gaming, I wouldn't even entertain the idea unless I had a couple 100,000.
Right, exactly. Like,
that's just all it is.
Right, but like he wanted to get into like forging, like making knives and like stuff like that in his videos, and he had to start a second channel for it because he knew that the algorithm would screw that specific type of content over because it goes against what he regularly uploads. And I see that more and more now. We're like, Roman Atwood, he had 10 million subscribers and he had to start a new channel for his vlogs because it wasn't pranks. But he also got big enough to where you couldn't kill him, so to speak.
Well, this is the thing too, is just that I think the problem with it is that people want everyone to just upload the same kind of content for their viewership, because it's the thing. This is the thing, from a viewer to a creator. The consumer, the viewer, doesn't realize that when you watch someone for the content that you want, gaming, let's say you watch Ninja for Fortnite, that's one aspect of what you enjoy. You enjoy Fortnite, you enjoy Ninja. But that's not all you watch or all you do. If you do, I'm genuinely concerned about your mental health. But if that's all, that's one aspect of your personality. So that creator, that's also one aspect of their personality. I'm in the military. Exactly. Do I eat, sleep, and breathe military? No. God, no. No, I do other things. I game. I go out. I look at cars. I do a lot of different things. I'm into weapons. I do a lot of different kind of things. So when people change, understand that they're not changing because they don't like it or whatever. It's just because they're not robots who are only interested in one thing. And if you do one thing long enough, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to get tired of it eventually. Ninja doesn't play Fortnite anymore, or at least not nearly as much as he did. I don't upload military videos anymore because it doesn't make me happy. Like, eventually, no matter what you do, the success is not going to always outweigh the happiness you should be receiving from this. So when Roman Atwood stopped doing the pranks, I guarantee people were mad. It's like, we want pranks, we want pranks. That's one aspect of that guy. I'm one aspect of the military. Ninja's one aspect of Fortnite. These are good examples. So that's why when you have this, you're not all consumed about what they do, and neither are they.
Right.
So you got to separate the content from the person. They don't solely exist for that one type of content. Because when I get out of the military, guess what? Besides the knowledge that I gained from when I was in, I'm SOL. Because I don't know what's new. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in anymore. If I get out after my 6 and 3 and actually 2.5 years, I'm screwed. I got nothing. Sure, my experience is invaluable to some people, but all that experience has already put out there in my old videos. So what's the point now? Understand that no matter what, content will run out.
Yeah. It's a very big and very almost it's a sad reality behind what you like have and like what you do.
That's why adding the podcast was a great way to vary my content.
That's also why like you do Twitch, and that's why like you're divulging into music. You're like you still play video games and you still are part of the military. That's why you've learned about new hobbies, and that's why like you got into cars and stuff. Like you're expanding your reach, so to speak.
You're like the whole expanding your horizons nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Might sound like a bunch of BS, but it's
true. We're not one-dimensional people. Everyone has multiple interests, I like to think. I don't think everyone's fully consumed about one thing. For example, as you guys can see on the screen right now, Devil May Cry, the original, the first game ever that came out of the series, was my favorite. It's my favorite series in my favorite gaming franchise. Is it all I think about or all I do? No. I play other games. I don't only play this one game. It doesn't matter how much you may love it. Eventually, you're going to want to do something else. I don't think there's anything in this world, maybe besides drugs because of the implication it has on your brain and alcohol, that eventually you won't get sick of.
Right.
But that's just me, though. Sure, maybe people would disagree, but that's my honest opinion, that eventually you will get tired of it, or you will want something else. I mean, when I get out of the military, if in 2.5 years, maybe I'll have, like, say, I think 15,000 subscribers is pretty solid for that. I'd say maybe I'll be right around that mark by that time. Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. But whatever I'm at that point in time, when I'm out, I might start uploading vlogs again. I might start, adding gaming to my channel, things like that. And I would like to think that the audience would stick around, like the true fans, people call them, like the people in the chat right now,
the OGs.
my friends. Yeah. Will my viewership take a hit? Yes. Will I lose subscribers? Yes. But at the same time, it's just numbers. I'm slowly starting to realize that having the subscribers, having the viewers, it's the views, it's cool. The numbers are cool, but at some point, it's not a good. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not a good placeholder for the joy you would get of uploading what you enjoy. The people who get the best of both worlds, I truly envy, because that's something that every creator wants, and some people only usually get one or the other.
Yeah,
like if Steve started uploading like mindless prank videos, I guarantee, even if he was telling me, like, let's say in a year, Steve starts uploading prank videos or whatever content say you hate the most, you start doing because it's popular. What kind of content do you hate the most?
I'd probably say reacts.
Okay, fine. Let's say Steve starts uploading reaction videos. In, let's say, a year, he passes me in subscribers. Let's say by this time next year, Steve has over 100,000 subscribers, has a silver play button and everything. Leaves me in the frickin' dust. But he hates it. He absolutely hates it. In me, and by that time, I'm not uploading military videos anymore. I'm uploading gaming videos, getting a third of my viewership. My subscribers are relatively stagnant, but I'm enjoying what I'm uploading more, and my viewers are slowly growing back up again. He passed me, sure, but he's not happy with it. I mean, sure, everyone's like, hey, I wish I had your subscribers. I wish I had this. Yeah, I'm sure you do, but at some point it doesn't matter to you if you're getting no joy out of it. It just becomes a number on a screen. That's all it really is. So that's why, as happy as I was when I hit 10K, because that was my goal for so long, I hope that when the time comes where I really switch up my content, people stay for that.
Yeah. I mean, like, and they wouldn't even be able to get mad at you if, like, you eventually leave the military, or like it's not sustainable having that channel, and so they wouldn't even be able to get mad at you if you uploaded non-military content when you're not in the military. Like, to even think that would be completely ridiculous. Like I can imagine 2 videos that might relate to the military, and it's like, how was my last
My last day.
my last day, and what do I do now? Like that's 2 videos, and their last 2 anything relating to military, and then it's just free reign from there.
Either that or just like after a year, like I've been out for a year, compare and contrast, things like that. It could progress for a few videos, but maybe after, I would say maybe 5 or 6 videos of like the time comparisons, it would just die. And at that point, it would not even be worth making because I'm not in service anymore. So my opinion carries a lot less weight. I mean, I don't even think my opinion carries any weight now, but even still. It's funny to me that people don't understand that as creators, we're not one-dimensional people. We don't live to make this content. It really kind of boggles the mind for me. I mean, go ahead.
The only people that people realize that they're not two-dimensional are people that aren't limited on what content they can or can't put out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like people where it's easy to meet them. Like where you can, like, I know a bunch of car YouTubers, like that dude in blue, TJ Hunt, Adam LZ, Evan Shanks, like a bunch of car YouTubers that I friggin' love. I'd love to meet them. But they go to events, they host things with their sponsors, and you can go there and just meet them and see what kind of people they are. And people can't exactly like walk out on the street. Oh, what's up, Peter? Sorry. My roommate just walked in.
Hello, internet.
But you can't just waltz onto an Air Force base and meet Airman Martin. Like, that's borderline like treason. Like,
yeah, you can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So like, people like you, when you're limited on your content and you're limited on what you can make, like, it makes people view you as less of a person and more as just an object to,
and a means to an end, essentially.
A means to an end, yeah. Like, or people that like upload like tutorial videos. Like, I've looked up countless videos for my major in networking where I'll never see their channel again. I might subscribe to it, but I'll never see it again. And to me, they were just a means to an end. Do I think they're any less of people? No. They're just nice enough to upload like the assignment I needed help. Like,
yeah.
And so
I think one of the craziest things for me, though, was when I realized how far my reach was getting. Because I remember one time I went out to the mall. Because usually whenever I got recognized for my channel, it was always by military people.
Right.
On a military installation. But there was one time I went out to the mall. I think I told you about this. And I walked into a Vans. And I was asking the girl, like, hey, do you have these in my size? Or I was like, she's like, do you need any help? I'm like, or something like that. Like, just generic conversation for a store. And she looked at me funny. I'm like, is everything okay? And she says, yeah, no. She's like, by chance, do you make YouTube videos? I said, yes. She's like, that's so crazy. I was actually watching your videos last night because I'm thinking about enlisting. I'm like, oh my God.
That's ironic. That's crazy.
She was like dumbstruck. She's like, there's no way this is actually happening. I said, it's okay. Calm down. It's not that crazy.
I'm just a person.
Like, yeah. I've never understood the idea either of putting people, or especially YouTubers, on a throne because we're all just people. I mean, I can understand it, especially with your bigger ones. Like, I was really happy when I met my favorite YouTuber, but I talked to him like he was a regular guy. I didn't kiss his ass. I didn't, do anything like that. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Because we actually follow each other on Twitter too, which is pretty funny. And I was like, what's going on, man? How are you been? How was it like getting here? How's the trip? All this other kind of stuff. Generic conversation talk. Will I ever see him again? Probably not. Will he remember me? I highly doubt it. But I've never understood doing that to people. Because people have said that I'm famous. I said, no, I'm not. Don't do that to me.
Right. Like,
or don't treat me like that, because I don't like that.
It's just a number.
Yeah, it's just a number.
Like, I see so many, like this girl that lived around the corner from me. She idolizes Andy Black in Black Veil Brides. she has like 4 Instagram accounts that started out as her personal Instagram, but because she put so much anti-black worship material on there, they just turned into fan accounts. And like it's almost obscene when it gets to that point where like you have nothing better to do than just blabber on and on and on about this guy that literally doesn't know you, literally will never meet you, not remember you.
There's nothing wrong with loving or cherishing something like that, but if that's the only aspect of your character, then that's a little sad. Right. There's a fine line between loving something and being passionate about it, and then just being really unhealthily obsessed.
Obsessed, yeah. Because like, I see, like, I see fan accounts for like I don't know, like Tanner Fox or something, like just let's make it more relatable, like Justin Bieber or like Selena Gomez, and in the bio of the description they have how many times like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, their manager have liked a comment like on Instagram, and to me it's just like that's just unhealthily obsessed.
Not even that, but the chances that the actual person did it is slim to none. Likely it was someone who runs their account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. which I've always found to be pretty funny.
I mean, because like when we made that I Prevail music video, like we sent it to their Twitter, and they're like, yeah, we didn't see it, you have to send it to our personal Twitters, and we're like, oh, okay, and we had to do it that way.
But we know the actual guys who watched it. Now at this point it's relatively embarrassing because it could have been so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean we were incredibly limited at the time. Nowadays if we did that it'd be so much better.
We got to do that at some point. I think that'd be cool.
We do, but I really feel like we need more people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, we can do like that one Logic song because it's just Logic. He's just the individual lyricist. Whereas, like, if we're gonna have a band, like, we're gonna have to have a band. It's not just gonna be like one guy singing all the lyrics for the entire song. Because like, it was looking back, that was really cringy.
It was, man, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty bad, and that's why for that song we really didn't need a band. There was just more support for that because it looked all out of place. And I'm not gonna put the link out there for that one.
Nope,
not happening.
Bury it.
I did.
Take out the pasture.
Only Steve and I can have that one.
Yeah, I'm somewhere on one of my hard drives. I still have the original like files. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm sure you do. The Logic one is one thing because me and him are actually really proud of that one, but not that one.
Yeah, no, that one's staying buried.
I think that's
black and white beginning, and it was all cringy, and like we filmed it with a GoPro, like just to give a little bit of perspective.
Not even that, but the ending was bad, so it was nighttime, so there was so much film grain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Was so high, it was so bad.
I hated that.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you guys will open up the floor for questions and opinions for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and if you guys have nothing, me and Steve are going to cut on out because we've been live for about an hour 40. So this is the time of the podcast where it's up to you guys where we go from here. So if you have anything, now's the time.
Just not military related.
Yeah, please not.
Or politically, yeah. And if you want to find out any of our opinions on anything around that area, just check a previous podcast. We probably go over it.
Or if you don't feel like going through the podcast, because, granted that is hours of content, you can reach us individually and we'll answer at some point.
Yep.
Please understand that Steve and I don't answer directly, like, right away or within a few days. We're both busy. We both kind of forget. Me and Steve are both forgetful people. At least I know I am.
Oh, I'm very forgetful. I forgot to put my pants on today.
I remember I forgot to put my pants on, and then when I got to the mall, the cops had to take me out.
Yeah.
Took me a while to figure that one out. I would like you guys to start, because we're going to start doing a segment like this at the end of every podcast where it's open floor, opinions, comments, concerns, whatever it may or may not be. So always go into the podcast with something in mind to be ready to ask, because we're going to do that.
Even if it's just something that you're curious about with, like, for me at least, because I'm myself, like, if you want to know, like, what I go to school for, or, like, something about, like, my personal life that doesn't, like, delve into my privacy, I'll talk about it. I mean, I don't care.
It doesn't always have to be about asking me particular things.
Yeah.
Do we think that Jeffree Star's new wig matches his hairline? I don't even know who that is.
Who the? Oh, Jeffree Star is like a dude who does his own makeup. Kind of weird. I know a girl who's
Oh.
obsessed with it, and she wanted me to do a photo shoot for her for this thing, and I was like, I'm charging you, but so sure, but like, I ain't exactly going to enjoy it. It's friggin' weird.
I remember seeing him. His tweets are awful. His everything about him is just it hurts my soul.
Yeah,
It really does. Anything else, guys? Hopefully next time I start recording for a gameplay, I'm not going to have this frame issue.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not that... I mean, I notice it, and that's why it bugs me, but I don't really think anyone else notices or cares. But it bugs me. Thoughts on Jack Daniel's whiskey?
I friggin' love it.
Well, there's a college student. For me personally, it's hit or miss. It's kind of like it's more or less a mood thing.
For me, I can drink Jack any time of the day, anywhere. But that's also like, I do have sentimental value because my friend who passed away, which is another story I'm not getting into.
Yeah, let's not get
He
into that one.
loved Jack, so I do have some sentimental value.
Yeah.
But it is just a very good whiskey. I am a whiskey man till the death of me.
I would have to say I am too. I don't know about you, being in college or whatnot, but I can't really do beer much.
Dude, no, beer's awful. I don't drink beer for a reason. Like, it literally makes me sick. Like, if I have a swig here or there, it's fine. And like my family, they're kind of like beer snobs. So like, they're all about their beer, and I'm like, it's really not that good. It tastes like cheap like piss water.
Essentially, that's what it is. What do you think about TikTok, Steve?
TikTok, honestly,
It's a cringier Vine, that's my opinion.
it's cringier music influenced Vine. That's really it. My friend Holly loves to show me TikToks, and like some of them are clever, some of them are funny. But as a social media platform, you can't beat Vine, because
I
Vine
miss
was like
Vine.
everyone missed Vine, and if you don't, you're lying or you don't know what I'm talking. Plain and simple.
Oh, me and Steve had a repository of some of the best Vines ever made.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about Crown Royal, Steve? I mean, I personally enjoy Crown.
I love Crown Royal. I like Crown Royal Apple. That's my
Yeah, I do too. I love Crown Royal Apple.
Yeah.
Me and Steve are definitely whiskey people, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I can
wine?
drink.
Did you wine?
Yeah, I do wine.
I don't know. I've had red wine before, and it just made my stomach mad.
My friend Steven Spisto, he got a subscription. He got a $100 wine voucher to an online wine subscription, and everything that like they make there is like it's all like very bougie, crafty wines, but like they're all very high quality, and like I had some tonight and it was really good.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But if you
I have to
want
expand my horizon on it because I've only
if
had
you want
like
some opinions, I mean, I'm very good at alcohol. I can alcohol a lot.
we get it. You went to college.
That has nothing to do with it. I know plenty of people that are alcoholics. Never set foot in a school.
Well, I know it's a joke because I said earlier. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're good. But no, like
I kind of stopped drinking, to be honest, mostly because I don't know. I just kind of
alcohol's a downer, so it makes you not happy.
that and it's expensive.
Oh yeah, it's hella expensive. That's
I
why,
already
like,
have enough expensive hobbies as it is. Like my computer
right.
turned into a very expensive hobby real fast.
Yeah, I'm just waiting until I get like an actual like salaried position, and then I can like spend all my money on like cars and like car parts and building them and getting more camera gear because I am a camera gear fanatic.
I'm thinking about getting a new camera for my streams. Actually, I want that nice depth of field effect to it. It's a Sony. It's again Sony. Oh crap! What was it? I'll send it to you later. But they're
Okay.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. We could add a Vine channel to Discord. Problem is, a lot of the best Vines are gone.
All the best Vines are gone, and you'd have to like
YouTube
find a
search 'em.
compilation and then timestamp it and then do it that way. Which, if you're willing to do that, I mean, that's fine. But like,
I'm not going to add a solo category for it on Discord.
yeah, no, I wouldn't. But all right, I think we're good.
I think that's about everything. I don't really have anything else. Unless you guys have one more question, we'll stand for like 2 more minutes. But after this, we're going to split out.
Yep, we'll be out for the night.
I want to grab some food.
You always want to grab food, fat ass.
How about you stop judging me?
No.
Like you've just been
good at it.
You've just been like making fun of me, insulting me this entire podcast.
Yeah, because you probably do it to me anyways.
Of course I do it to you.
Well, duh.
That's what our friendship revolves around. That's why we became friends in the first place.
Pretty much.
Oh, so you do that basic voice too well. It concerns me.
Yeah, well, I'm also kind of like super mega basic.
Yeah, this is also true.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm a white guy who likes wine. Oh.
So when are you gonna start rallying against the patriarchy? I'm just curious.
Oh, I've been rallying for years, man. Just in my.
You've been rallying since birth, you born commie.
I rally for good things like making the motherland great again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, hashtag that one. Make the motherland great again.
You know, the thing is, if you actually did that, I think you would get genuine support
Yeah,
from
probably.
really stupid people.
Yeah, but
You should do that as like an internet troll. Just meme a bunch of people into trying to make the motherland great again. Start like an actual cause.
oh my god,
And see how far you can get.
I'm gonna go to Twitter right now and just at Donald Trump make the motherland great again.
Just see what happens.
Yep.
I
I
guarantee
need
you would
to
get
run
support.
and use the restroom, so I think we should cut it here.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Remember that we're not going to have one next week, and there might not be one after that because I'm moving and Steve's doing a bunch of stuff. So, for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be really up. Well, next week, regardless, there's no podcast, but the one after that is really up in the air. So we'll play that one by ear. But we'll see you guys next time on the next Screaming Into the Void.